So welcome again to Dungeons and Starships, and again welcome back to our inaugural first interview on the channel, and this being episode number 2. So this is dealing now with our interviewee talking about the present and the future for any involvement they've got in the wargaming community. So anything new that they might have coming to the market in the future, and anything they would like to see going forwards. Lucky enough that we've been able to talk to our initial interviewee, and being brilliant about being able to enthrall us with aspects of not only his past but also with the stuff he's got coming up in the future. So hopefully you watch this video. Hopefully afterwards you'd leave a like and subscribe, and if not, and if you haven't watched the first video in this series, please go back and check that out by following the links of our channel. So after your time at Games Workshop, you moved to another genre, and a lot of your work has been within the sort of like the video gaming community. Were you still sort of like involved in sort of like the narrative behind the games rather than, or was it gameplay and stuff that went through? What was your, what have you been filling your time with since you left GW? Is probably the best way to answer the question.
Yeah, video game design, game mechanics, the controls, player experience, design leadership, because I'm old, so there's lots of youngsters that I can tell stories of the good old days, and maybe they learn something. Working with the art directors, animators, it's the I've been doing what is the called game direction, which is a little bit like the movie direction. It's the except your medium is not a film but a game, which I also love. It's also I'm a man with family. It pays the bills, which is important. But I've never given up tabletop. I mean, it's still, if I'd have to choose, I enjoy both tremendously. But if I have to choose, tabletop is closer to my heart because that's where I started from. But yeah, I've been doing in many ways the same thing I was doing ever. It's because at the end of the day, game mechanics done by a computer where it kind of rolls the dice for you, versus the you doing the tabletop. From a designer's point of view, there is a very little difference in the end.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously that, it's going to lead us on to talk about, your involvement now in the future, because now there's another project that's been announced that's got you dipping your toe back in to the tabletop wargaming scene as such, and that obviously is the game Trench Crusade. So could you give us a bit of a background, and what's the ethos behind the game? What are we sort of expecting to see from this new title?
Okay, so imagine during the First Crusade is a group of Templars who've just taken the city. They find something. Some say it's the crown of thorns. Some say it's the true cross. Others say it's maybe the something at the mount. Who nobody knows. Whatever happens, they commit a great heresy, and a gate to hell is opened. Jerusalem is destroyed. It's the demons pour out from the gate. It's the heretics. Humans' turn is to follow the beast. They swell the ranks. The Great War begins. So there's been now 800 years of war. Is the backwards and forwards with the faithful and the heretics fighting for for the fate of creation, with the heretics pushing ever further. They've taken Gibraltar. They have the beachhead at on the European mainland. In North Africa, it's the Africans are trying to stop them. Their submarine fleet raids the Atlantic. Nelson's fallen in the battle against the heretic fleet. Is the British are on defensive. It's 1914. There's been, like during these 800 years, a period of peace. Now both sides are gearing up again against war. So there is a vast no man's land between the two, and both sides send small patrols to gather information, to secure key positions, to find artifacts from the biblical times to secure victory. And you take command of one of these small bands in the no man's land is then to fight it's the other side, but also people from your side that might get in your way. It's in order to fulfill the orders of your masters. All the while, the Hell's factories are churning up tanks. It's the planes, assault beasts, and the faithful nations. It's the centered on new city of New Antioch, as they have their own the armies gearing up. They are preparing for the Great War to start again. And in this little lull between before the Great War starts, is you command one of these small bands. That's Trench Crusade.
Okay. So we're talking about we're going back warband, skirmish side, a lot of eclectic mix and that you could have within any one warband. I mean, you know, the beta rules are out available now on the website, aren't they? So people can already go and have a look about what's going on, although it is still obviously in playtest conditions.
Yep.
But you know, there is a lot of, well, what do you want to run in your warband? There's a lot of picking, mixing that people can do to come up with something that's completely unique for whatever they want to do. But there's also the wider berth of you being able to say, if I've, for example, on the heritage side, if I've got availability of everything. I mean, you know, one of my favourite ones is the wire beast, the werewolf type character who's sent into to clearing all the way through to the ammo witch and stuff, things like this.
Artillery witch, yeah.
Artillery witch, yeah, sorry. So to go in but basically you can have all of it in your collection, but only you can pick and choose then what you get on the table. So there is the availability to collect quite widely, but also to be a bit more pinpointed when actually playing in the game and change the game up by having different of the available models on the table, isn't there?
Yes. It's because we are now dealing with a groups put together by actual major factions or armies or nations, or in the case of Heretics Hell, in the case of the Iron Sultanate is the Sultan or one of the great emirs and pashas. So there is a much wider range of weaponry, the troop types, because these are mainly volunteers, the drawn from a actual big military organizations. There is also the great trump card I had was that the world has already been developed for 7 years by one of the very famous fantasy artist, Mike Franchina, who is responsible for the art for a lot of games like Diablo. So there was already a wealth of visual material and lore that I could sort of start working with him and the James Sheriff, who is our sculptor. So I really could hit the ground running. I mean, like you said, the playtest rule sets are available. There is the 5 of the warbands are playable. There's many sub factions, so you can, like, instead of taking the main New Antioch, you might do the shock troopers from Free State of Prussia, or these ambush force from the island of Aire, and so on and so forth. But people are already playing tournaments. I mean, I'm super chuffed. Yeah. I haven't finished the rules. I mean, I'm great that you are playing tournaments, but I am surprised that, because usually people wait. So the amount of following the game's gotten in a very short time with absolutely no cost. We don't do marketing. It's we just want to do a game we like to do. There has been a absolute groundswell of support. There clearly seems to be a demand for a game that is miniature agnostic. While we will offer our own miniatures, is that most of the stuff people are kit bashing because we haven't got our miniatures out yet, and that's great. And where you build your own terrain, and we give a lot of agency over the warband building. So the incredible amount of support we've gotten, it's this clear sign that the people have been craving for something like this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because with you saying about that the game that it's already been paid at a tournament level, I don't suppose you could get any more rigorous playtesting group than a group of people who are playing it competitively. I mean, because we all know, you know, you set a set of rules in front of someone, especially if they're a competitive nature, will try their best to find every loophole and break every little bit of it down to the final skits. So I suppose, you know, you've got to be, again, you can't sort of hold back from that and say it's not really a good thing, because eventually it is going to come to the full where your game is going to be far more robust when it does actually come to being the finished article, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that it's hard for a lot of designers to put a game that's not finished yet, and the people find out the whatever the faults there are. It can be painful, but some pain is good. And I believe vast majority of the gaming fans, it's actually want to help you. They are not there to laugh at you. They want the game to be as good as possible. Plus, you can really find out that is anybody really interested, because at the end of the day, whatever there is something to fix in the rules, if people are gripped by it, if they gravitate towards the game rules, the lore, and the art, it will work. And it doesn't matter how much you polish it if it doesn't grab people. So it's a really good way to find out early that is there any point of like doing the full release. I haven't seen in my career, which is very long, this kind of a grassroots support before, which I'm quite frankly stunned. And it's been nothing but good thing for me to release the rules early, because the people have just grabbed them and they started doing stuff. I mean, even if I've had £1 million in the bank, I couldn't have gotten even the tiniest amount of stuff done that the fans have already done. It's humbling.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you talked about obviously the team that's behind Trench Crusade, about having the artwork and the original ethos and aesthetic for the game already, you know, well established. John then took that and he did the Kickstarter in the was it start of this year or the end of last year, where there was a few of the miniature designs were taken out and put out that he was going to go and produce these and send these out. I mean, obviously he's still in fulfillment about that, but you know, I mean, a lot of the community are very supportive with, you know, the delays that have happened in that, but that's the point. But what was he, or has it been the take up of the people talking about the game that truly put you in the mindset that you know you've got something here, or was it that the support that the Kickstarter received?
Well, the Kickstarter was like literally for a 5 minis, so it was to see that if nobody backs it, then probably the aesthetic doesn't work. But actually, for something that there was no other product, it's apart from the aesthetic, that it's 2,200 backers, which is not for bad for a completely unknown thing done out of blue with no marketing. It's that gave us a sense that okay, somebody might be interested, because of course this involved us doing thousands and thousands of hours of unpaid work. It's and paying the sculptures and whatnot. So we don't mind it if we'd made no money. We are totally cool with that. But you shouldn't aim for failure. So it was good to see that that there's clearly something here. But that was, of course, before any of the rest of the things have happened, and the community is blown up to quite astonishing proportions, I have to say.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, a lot of people can find. Obviously, there's the Trench Crusade website. There's obviously the various Facebook groups and Instagram groups coming out, but it's been adopted again under the 28 communities Discord, hasn't it? A lot of information that's gone backwards and forwards. There is a group on there or a discussion on there surrounding about the games, isn't there?
Yeah, there was one. They were overwhelmed with the numbers and the couple of bad actors. They are very small site with low the moderators. So they're based here in Finland. So we just said that, look, guys, it's unfair for us too, because the thousands of people came through us. So we've actually now have a separate Trench Crusade Discord that the developers are. Yeah, we started with 28. It's parted in very amicable terms. I mean, come on, these are guys that live down the street from me, and we are now on our own course. Again, like we have an excellent group of people running it. None of whom any of us asked to do anything. It's the critical mass came and they said, hey, I'm good at technology. I'm good at running Discord. I have a lot of experience in the modding, whatever and they done, because remember, it's only 3 of us and we have full-time jobs. So all this stuff you see, it's pretty much, apart from the core development, it's 100% fan driven. We've definitely, I mean, paying for the kind of the teams and the tech support that people are doing for free. We could never even dream about it.
Yeah. Just to give some, if you can, some idea of numbers. Is how many people do you have on that Discord at the moment? Do you have any idea?
It was something like 4,500 now, but we haven't actually put the word out that the Discord exists yet. So we just put a tweet out. So let's see where it is. The Facebook group is in 2 months have gone from 0 to it's now over 12,500, which took even Mordheim, that was a supported game, years to get anywhere near that. We are well over 40,000 on the X, Twitter, whatever the people want to call it nowadays, and all these places were like put up like a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago. So there is a tons of people joining all the time. There is obviously, we have some cheats, like Mike from China has over 100,000 followers. So when it comes to his art, it's there was already like some inbuilt community, but most of these people, not all, but most of these people are game fans. And the lore fans. So it's just come in a very short time out of nothing, and we are just looking around with jaws agape. It's I'm saying that right. Clearly this resonates with people.
Yeah, I mean, because when I was looking at doing a sort of like a little bit of homework, I sort of like had a look about. I mean, like you say, so like one of the main aesthetics towards the game is this spill out of the demons from hell and all the rest of it. Now there has been, last couple of years, there's been a couple of games who have centered on these more demonic hellscape type games. I mean, you've got Uncle Adam and who did the Raining Hell game. You've got Black Magic Craft, who have brought out a game called Torment in the last couple of years, which they were demoing at Adepticon this year. So is it that aspect of the game that you think a lot of people are buying into and jumping onto, or is it maybe that you've got some people who are coming from more of a World War background and are looking for something to add a little bit more spice into it now, or it just seems that there is a lot of different avenues you could transfer to come into and find something in Trench Crusade that's going to keep you involved within the game.
Yeah, well, I think one of the big things is we have people, because World War I isn't as widely covered in fantasy gaming as World War II. It's and there is tons of super interesting time, because it was the last time when you had big cavalry charges with people in armor but wearing gas masks. And the horses wearing gas masks, and you had infrared goggles, even for it was over 100 years ago, and you had like people coming from from the far Asia is the wearing full knight armor. It's in the same battlefield, so there is something very evocative there. A lot of people, it's because we asked when people join that, hey, how did you find us? A lot of people say it was Mordheim, like and they want to see what I'm doing. A lot of people come because they are fans of Mike's artwork. A lot of people are actually, plenty of influencers have they picked this up and told about it. It's again, without us knowing about it. And a lot of people came through that. But of course, the trick is that they are staying. So the combination of art, rules, and lore are sort of forming this core course. Yeah, you could have an interesting idea, but if people look at it once and say, that was nice, time to move on, then you don't have a community. So the big thing is that the people are sticking with it, and the like coming and helping us. And the people are still very, very much coming from all over the place. I do think that the place for people who love kit bashing and being creative and homebrewing and the using stand-ins and whatnot is that space has been squeezed out of a lot of the mainstream big hobby stuff. So I think we have a lot of people are finding a good home here. They really want to build an awesome board and not buy the pieces, but make it themselves. So I think that's another one. But I think you're completely right. There are many, many directions and streams where people come from, not just one.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Mike's artwork, a lot of it does have that grandiose. You look at the stuff that he's done with the artillery batteries and stuff like that are on the battlefield and stuff like that. And you've got one of the main models that was part of the Kickstarter was the tank hunter, the guy who's rather large in scale. Yes. So although you were describing the game as being more of a warband-esque game, is there availability of vehicles going to be in the game? Is there going to be, or do you see it as maybe if the game was to be it's not was to, if the game is going to be as successful as what it seems to be from the feedback and from everything you've got now, would you take it and maybe escalate it into a full tabletop war game where you'd add those extra little bits in? Where do you see the game going from its warband roots now, and can it escalate in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if everything would go well, we would want to do expansion to the skirmish with more warbands, is the vehicles, cavalry rules. The thing there is that not everybody wants a kit bash. Many people say, hey, I love the painting. I just want you to make cool models that we can paint. Yeah. And doing tanks is those kits are very expensive to produce. So you have to have money in the bank if you want to do that. So that's really dependent on how well the game does. It's can we do it? I would do the expansions first, then I would look at what Trench Crusade would look like as a battle game, like unit. How would I do unit rules? They would definitely need different rule set. It's the skirmish games. This is very much a move individual piece at a time kind of game. A larger scale, like if you start having over 20 models in skirmish, it becomes very slow to play. So the unit-based, army-based game needs unit rules. It's which I would think would be super fun to do. But I think the order would be depending also on the level of success. Is the expand skirmish first, add stuff like cavalry and simple vehicle rules. I mean, you don't want like a giant tanks in on both sides all the time in a skirmish game, because they will obviously dominate any scenario they're in. But to see how those rules would work, because the Trench Crusade has its own core mechanics, so I would have to think through. And then if we'd be like mega successful, we could see what the community thinks. If they'd really like a battle scale game, I would love to make one.
Yeah, I mean, because when I've been putting my kit bash brain together, I mean, I've done like a couple of little models that I've floated out there to the community, and it's from that, me and you got in touch basically, and I always thought to myself that, so like, if you're talking about, you're going to have the larger demons kind of thing, or whether, that's going to be like some kind of possessed demon stroke tank stroke crossover that we've seen in a lot of B movies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So whether that's where the actual vehicle side of it would become involved, but yeah, obviously that's just me not wanting to step on your ideas going forwards. But there you go.
Hey, ideas are good.
Yeah. Right. So into our final question then. So obviously you've had the success for James about the Kickstarter for the models, with everything like that. Now, I did hear rumour, and you can again correct me if I'm wrong, that the rule set will again be a Kickstarter going forwards. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. We will offer physical and digital for both the games and the models. We're also going to do lore and art book. They go along with it, because a lot of places, like I have a lot of people from Australia pinging us that, hey, the postage kills us. Is the
absolutely.
Same thing from South America, and yeah, it'll cause some piracy. But if I have to weigh against, can some cool cats in Australia get the game at all or not, I'll always take the side of the players.
Yes, yeah. So saying that, and then with obviously with the rules in beta test at the moment, can you give us any kind of timeline about when we're likely to see the campaign kicking off?
Okay, so we will give the exact date very soon. We want to first make sure that we fulfilled we had, because of the material that was used for printing, that caused a delay on the fulfillment of the last one. We want to make sure all the people who supported us, that their stuff is on the way before we.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But the timeline, it's you can count the how many months with the fingers of one hand. How many of them? It's I'm not gonna tell yet. It's but we are talking about quite short time here. It's and remember, this is an actual Kickstarter. A lot of companies nowadays, and I'm not judging them, but this is the fact, they use Kickstarter more as extra sales for the game they were gonna make it.
Yeah.
This Kickstarter is actually that, will the game happen or not? Because we obviously can't print thousands and thousands of books. It's and models. It's out of our own pocket. It's impossible. So it's the fans will decide if there is a game. It looks very good right now that there will be.
Well, if you're talking about, like you said, about 12,000 plus people on the Facebook page, there's you go 12,000 copies of all the books and everything like that. You're going to have to find the printers for and all the rest of it. So.
Exactly.
All I've got to say is I just hope you have the best of luck in it, because it's definitely a game that's grabbed my attention, the attention of the guys I play with. We've messed about it on smaller with the playtest rules, and we're really enjoying what we're playing. It's like you said, I mean, because we come from the old school background, the old school Mordheim background as well. So a lot of it, the reason why we got involved in it is because your name was involved with the game, but it's bringing out that same feel of the game that I had 25 years ago when I first started playing out of the Mordheim box. And again, I think I'm just recapturing my game youth a little bit. So I'm just going to say thanks for that.
Hey, I'm glad you said that's happened. I also tried to make the rules, because 25 years is a long time in game development. I tried to bring the rules into something that, if you are not as experienced as your group clearly is, that the rules are streamlined enough that it's reasonably quick to pick it up and start playing, but deep enough that because very simple games, the problem is that you never encounter anything interesting, because they are so simple that nothing interesting can happen. So fingers crossed, I hit the right sweet spot. It's basing on all the people doing stuff. It's looks like for many people it hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. Well, Thomas, it only goes without saying. So, thank you very much for taking your time out to come and speak to us. Again, I can only applaud you on coming with this new title and with the hopeful success that it's going to have. And I just wish you all the best for the future, and I can't wait to see where and if it grows, the Trench Crusade. And again, if ever you want to do anything for Mordheim, I'm sure the community will be happy to have something new from your pen back into the community again.
Yep, let's see how it all goes, Istian. Thank you so much for having me. It's been super fun.
Lovely. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. So that's it. The end of our first video, the second episode. And we'd just like to thank Tuomas Pirinen for taking his time out, for joining us on the channel and being our guinea pig to this interview series. Now, hopefully there's going to be a few more of these interviews going on in the future. And if there's anybody you'd like me to see, try and get on the channel, then please leave it in the comments below. And so we'll see what we can do and see who we can tempt out with promises of, I don't know what else, bribes and various other things. So thank you again for your time, taking the time out to join us and watch and listen to the channel. And thanks very much for all the kind comments and feedback that we're getting. And it just goes to end up with me saying again, no matter what games you're playing, I hope you're having fun, whether those games are from the deepest dungeons to the highest starships.